Hi everyone! Today's video is on exploring categorical data, and we'll be going over some tips that will help you on the AP test. First, we'll cover frequency tables and bar charts. Frequency tables are used to display the counts or frequencies of individuals in each format category. Relative frequency tables show the percentages or relative frequencies of individuals in each format category. Bar graphs represent each category as a bar, with category counts or percentages determining the height of the bars. Take a look at the charts below. A random sample of 50 subjects were asked how many dogs they thought were too many. The data is provided. In order to calculate the relative frequencies, take the frequency of one category and divide it by the total. Therefore, the frequency of the people who said one dog was too many is 2 divided by 50, or 0.04. A multiple choice tip. Make sure to look at the bars or images used to represent the counts or percentages, because the pictures may be misleading. Don't forget to also check the scale on the axes. Let's talk about two-way tables in more detail. Two-way tables describe two categorical variables. In this example, our two variables are gender and whether or not they have a driver's license, and we're showing the raw data and the relative frequencies. To find marginal relative frequency, take the row or column total and divide it by the table total. For example, if we're trying to find the marginal distribution of 17-year-olds who have a driver's license, divide
34
by the total of 50, which gives you 0.68. Each marginal distribution is the distribution for a single categorical variable. The joint relative frequency is slightly different. You take one of the specific inner entries and divide it by the table total. For example, if you want to find the joint relative frequency of 17-year-old boys who don't have a driver's license, divide 10 by the table total of 50, which gives you an answer of
0.2.
You can also find the marginal relative frequency by adding up the joint relative frequencies. To find conditional distribution, which is also known as the conditional frequency, take the specific entry that you are looking for and divide it by the row or column total, depending on what you're looking for. For example, in order to find the conditional distribution that a 17-year-old has a driver's license given that they are a boy, divide 15 by 25 in order to get 0.6. Remember that if the question asks for the conditional probability for something, the denominator for the conditional frequency is the total in the category that the question asks for. Conditional distributions can be used to determine if there is an association between two variables. There is an association between two variables if knowing the value of one variable helps predict the value of the other. Marginal distributions do not tell us anything about the relationship between two variables. To see whether there is an association between two categorical variables, compare an appropriate set of conditional distributions. There are two sets of conditional distributions for a two-way table: the distributions of the row variable for each value of the column variable and the distributions of the column variable for each value of the row variable. Looking at the table, if there is no association between gender and the relative frequency of people who have driver's license, then the relative frequencies for yes for both male and female should be the same. Another type of bar chart is the stacked bar chart or the segmented bar chart. In the stacked bar chart, the bars of each category are stacked on top of each other in each distribution, but the bars represent relative frequency, meaning the y-axis of relative frequency should go up to 100%. When comparing distributions using bar charts, side-by-side bar graphs make it easier to see the difference between categories in each distribution. A segmented bar graph allows you to see the relative frequencies in each distribution. Something that students sometimes forget is that when making a segmented bar graph, your total for each bar must add up to 100%. Otherwise, you're just making a weird form of a regular bar graph. Going back to association, you can also use a stacked bar graph to determine if there's an association or not. If you're trying to determine the association between two variables, the two categories for both variables should have approximately the same relative frequency. For example, take a look at the driving license table again. When trying to determine if there's an association between gender and whether or not there's a driving license, you want to compare the percent of yeses and nos between males and females. Comparing yes boys with yes girls, we find that the male's percentage of 0.60 is less than the female's percentage of 0.76, meaning there is an association between gender and 17-year-olds having a driver's license. Having a driver's license as a 17-year-old female is more likely than having a driving license as a 17-year-old male. If you are looking for more practice, check out the AP Statistics 2009 FRQ Question 1 and 2014 FRQ Question 1. Disclaimer, all data was fabricated for the purpose of this video. Thank you for watching.